We are live here from Waukee High School on the west side of the Des Moines metro area. My name's Emery Songer, and we're happy to bring you a doubleheader of baseball action live from this beautiful complex just to the west of Waukee High School. Waukee in the field wearing white uniforms. They're taking on the top-ranked team in all of Class 4A in the Dowling Catholic Maroons. Brand new rankings came out today from the Iowa High School Baseball Coaches Association. Waukee landed at number 7 in that same poll, with Dowling Catholic, as mentioned, at 11-1 on the season. They are number 1 to start today's ball game. Let's go ahead and start with the three batters you're going to see at least here in the first for Dowling. And it'll be Brandon Bickford, the senior catcher, followed by the senior right fielder Hank Hamrick, and then senior second baseman Owen Browk. Those are the first three batters we'll see here for the Maroons. We'll get to more after we get through a couple of batters here. But for the Maroons, 11-1 on the season. An excellent start, and there's not a lot of holes in this roster. We've seen them a few times already, and the first pitch is pounded in there for strike one. First pitch at 4:56. This is game one of a doubleheader. Jackson Payne is the pitcher. His second pitch is a big breaker. It's popped foul out of play to the right side, and it's 0-2. Jackson Payne, 2 games started so far. Doesn't have a win or a loss on his record, however. 12 innings of work, though, and he's been great. 0 runs scored against him. .25 the whip in those 12 innings. .075 opponents sitting against him. He is the best that Waukee has to offer. Very well maybe one of the best all Class 4A has to offer. Is this one up high, 1-2, and you can see the kind of velocity that he's bringing to the plate. Brandon Bickford at the plate for the Maroons. 12 games played, a .462 average, .533 the on base, 11 runs knocked in. This guy is a tough out. And this pitch is up high. 2-2 is the count. Two balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff man for Dowling Catholic. Popped up right side. Long run. Right fielder coming on, making the catch. That's Aiden McGee. And Bickford flies out in foul ground for the first out. Another good breaking ball there by Payne. Hank Hamrick comes to the plate. Hamrick has played in all 12 games as well. .359 the average, .435 the on-base percentage. He does have a home run, hit that against Valley last week. 12 runs knocked in, which is in a 3-way tie with Derek Enertson and Charlie Carell, those are their 4 and 5 hitters in this order. Those two guys also with 12 RBIs. It's a very balanced order. Everybody top to bottom has contributed, as there's a strike called on the outside corner. Scott Anderson is your home plate umpire for game number 1. Ricardo Alvario is the base umpire for this first game. Those two will trade spots for game number 2. The right-hander, this one slips out of the hand a little bit. 1-1 the count to Hamrick. Defensively behind Jackson Payne, Jacob Barton in left field for Waukee. Donovan Akes in center with Aiden McGee in right. Cooper Krause at third base with Colin Evers playing shortstop. Jackson Wentworth at second and Luke Gaynor at first. Alex Walsh is the backstop for the right-hander, Jackson Payne. Payne, a senior, gets a swing and a miss there from Hamrick, and it's 1-2 to the lefty. Infield, outfield, straight up and spread out. There's another late swing. This one, no contact, strike 3. Hamrick goes down.
Next up, number 27, second baseman.
First strikeout for Payne. Payne has struck out 27 without walking anyone coming in. That's his 28th strikeout of the year with no walks, and he only allowed 3 hits in 12 innings. Those are video game numbers for this guy in 2 starts. First pitch to Owen Browk. There's a breaker in there, 0-1. Waukee 7-5 the record on the year. Dropped a couple on the road to Ankeny last Friday. They did split against Johnston, a very good Johnston team, and split against a very good Urbandale team as well. A lot of good teams here, as it is 0-2. Now the count to Owen Browk. Browk, 282 the average, 378 the on base, 1 homer and 10 runs driven in. Foul tips this. This hits right off the dome of Alex Walsh. Home plate umpire Scott Anderson is going to jog out to grab the baseball and just make sure that gives his man some time behind the plate. Alex Walsh to gather himself. That was a really hard noggin shot. Dave Dirks comes out of the Waukee dugout and just makes sure his backstop's all right. you'll see that camaraderie a lot between those guys that are massed behind home plate. Catcher takes a shot like that, the umpire will buy him some time by walking around, brushing off the plate. If the umpire happens to take one, the catcher will typically jog out, talk to his pitcher for a little bit, and let the umpire get his bearings about him. That ball is only 9 ounces and only 5 inches in circumference, but I'm telling you what, it does not feel good when you are hit with it in any way, shape, or form. As that is fouled well out of play and across the street. As Browk staying alive. Big gap out there in left center field as the center fielder Donovan Hicks takes several steps toward right center here. Another 0-2 on the way. And there's another late swing, just fouling it off and staying alive. Browk doing a great job of doing that against Jackson Payne. Pretty much everything reset in terms of pitch count, so limitations on pitching staffs you wouldn't imagine you're going to see too much of that in this game. But you will see limitations on the future. You want to keep guys fresh and ready to go. This is popped straight up. Ranging behind home plate is the catcher, Alex Walsh. He's there, and him makes the catch for the 3rd out. So, Browk a good at bat, but a couple of foul outs and a strikeout. 1, 2, 3 go the Maroons. Top half of the first in the books. We'll head to the bottom half as Waukee comes to bat right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Henry Songer back here live from Waukee High School as Jake English warming up his right arm for the Dowling Maroons. The Maroons, by the way, ranked number 1 in the brand new Iowa High School Baseball Coaches Association poll, which came out today. Waukee is ranked 7th in that poll. Both these teams in 2 different divisions of the Central Iowa Metro League. In baseball, Dowling 11-1 on the season. Their one loss, I believe, came at the hands of Mason City. Either way, what a start they have been on. Johnston right behind them at 10-2 with Ankeny, Centennial, Urbandale, and Ames rounding out the Central Division. On the Iowa Division, Southeast Polk leading the way, but Waukee right behind them at 7-5 with Mason City, Fort Dodge Valley, and then Marshalltown rounding out the Iowa Division. But CIML chock full of really good Central Iowa teams. That entire top 10 is loaded with them as well, as it's 1-0 to Jacob Barton, the leadoff man for the Waukee Warriors. The righty English brings that one in there for a strike. On the season, Barton, all 10 games he has played, he has started. He does have a home run, 8 knocked in, and a .458 average. Is that one outside? The delivery on the way, up high, and it's ball 4. And we already have a little bit of a discussion here from head coach Mark Roaring. He has come out. Mistake from the dugout. They believe that a strike had been called by the home plate umpire, Scott Anderson, but it had not. The scoreboard did read one strike in there, but either way, Barton is aboard via the leadoff walk. A little conversation out there. Let's go ahead and give you the numbers here for the starting pitcher, Jake English, and there is none this season at the varsity level. English drawing his first start. Jacob Barton and Jackson Wentworth and Alex Walsh, the catcher, are your 3 scheduled hitters here. Pretty long conversation with the battery and infield with head coach Mark Roaring. Right after the first batter, draws 4 balls in a row. And looks like we're ready to go. Jackson Wentworth comes to the plate. Wentworth, 10 starts, 10 games played, 458 is his average. 531, a good on base. No homers and 7 RBI. Nothing our score here in the first inning, and then immediately out of the stretch, here's English. This pitch, good breaker, and that's in there for a strike. No mistake there. English sets. Just a short lead at first by Barton. The kick and the delivery. That's just off the outside corner. 1-1. Barton over at first base has just attempted 2 steals so far this season. He is 1 for 2 in that regard. They do check on him here. The defense behind English, Mac Anderson in left field, Derek Enerson in center, and Hank Hamrick in right. Blake Anderson, the sophomore, at the hot corner. Owen Browk, Adam Browk makes up the middle of the infield as usual, with Charlie Carell playing first. Brandon Bickford, the catcher, behind home plate. Jake English, the righty, gets a swing and a miss from Jackson Wentworth, and it's 1-2. Yeah, this defensive alignment is basically what you see typically from the Dowling Catholic Maroons. And Coach Mark Roaring, and he's got a good 9. And just put a pitcher out there that can throw, and you know you're going to be in pretty good shape. As there's a foul ball by Wentworth, and it's 1-2 still. Waukee, despite being 7-5, we talked about the difficult schedule. Urbandale, who started the season at number 1, split with them. Johnson, another real top team, split with them. But they did drop 2 in a row to Ankeny, another very good team on the road. There's another foul ball. Wentworth hanging in there here, still 1-2. Jake English. No, the runner goes. That pitch misses. Throw down to second base. He kind of stumbled in there. Did the runner Barton, but he's in there safely. Wasn't really a slide that you're going to teach a whole lot of kids, but was able to get in there ahead of the throw. Pretty windy. It's blowing basically straight in from center. At least it feels that way. As that pitch up and in, and it's 3-2. 8th pitch of this at-bat upcoming. Dowling Catholic, Johnston, Urbandale, Southeast Polk, and Ankeny. Those are your top 5. There's all Central Iowa teams, and we talked about Waukee, even 7-5 this season, having taken games from some of those teams in the top 5. This has popped up, standing just in front of the mound, and now getting called off by Anderson, the third baseman. Look at that leadership from the sophomore, calling off his pitcher. You don't want your pitcher after to really have to field any of those pop-ups just to get out of the way. But all season long, since I've seen Anderson play, we saw Dowling first week of the season at Principal Park taking on Des Moines Lincoln, and we saw him last week against Valley. Anderson just really exudes that kind of leadership, especially at third base, a position that is a challenge to play defensively, and he has shown great ability over there for being just a sophomore. There's a breaker in there for a strike. 0-1 to Alex Walsh. Walsh is the catcher, a senior, batting .286, .344 the on base. He does have 3 runs driven in. In terms of run scoring, I mean, it has been basically no contest. 109 runs scored. As a quick pickoff throw, back to second, diving back in is Barton. 109 runs scored in just 12 games. And that is upwards of 9 runs per game for Dowling. Waukee, on the other hand, in 12 games, averaging a much more modest but still very strong 68. As that ball flared out into right field, that will drop in front of the right fielder, Hank Hamrick. Quick throw back in, cut off by Carell. Holding up at third is Barton, and Waukee's got something going here. If they would be able to get a lead for Jackson Payne, the fact that he hasn't allowed anything run scoring wise in 2 starts this season makes you feel like you'd be in good shape. As we got a courtesy runner, Dylan Fuqua, in the game. Fuqua, a senior courtesy runner over there at first base for the catcher, Alex Walsh. If you're not familiar, the courtesy run rule. Pitchers and catchers can be courtesy run for every time they reach base and be able to re-enter unlimited amount of times. So certainly a good rule to keep your pitcher and catcher good on the energy level. Courtesy runner can keep doing it over and over again until they are used in another spot in the order. As that one's flared into right again. Base hit for Aiden McGee. And that'll be for an RBI as well. And Waukee off to a good start here against the number 1 team in Class 4A.
Number 12, Luke Gaynor.
So that'll bring up Luke Gaynor for Aiden McGee. Didn't even get a chance to talk about his numbers, but McGee, that is his 9th RBI on the season. That's a team high. He also has 2 home runs this year and is batting .357 coming in, so certainly a strong hitter. Now Luke Gaynor comes up, and he would like to replicate that from the left side of the batter's box. The senior first baseman. The kick in the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Gaynor this season, just 167 the average, but he has walked 5 times, so the on-base is up to 348. He has 4 runs driven in. He's got a runner on first and second and 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. As time is called by Gaynor. He'll step out and take a couple of practice hacks before stepping back in. Dowling has been on a roll. Won every single one of their 6 games last week, which took place in 3 consecutive days. And they did so very convincingly. First pitch was a called strike. Second pitch is fouled straight back. Now to play, and it's 0-2 to Gaynor. 10-0 and 7-2 against Valley. Beat Centennial 4-3 and then 4-0 in a couple of tightly contested games. And then really took it to a very good Southeast Polk team on the road, 11-4 and 15-2. This team is no joke, and they'll have to prove it again later this week. As that pitch gets away, it's a little wide of Bickford. We'll go past ball there, as it looked like he did get a glove on it. It's 1-2 the count down to Gaynor, and now Ducks on the Pond. Runners to second and third, and still just the 1 out. Waukee ranked 7th this week. Dowling not just going to be tested here because they'll take on 3rd-ranked Urbandale, and that'll be on Wednesday. And then Thursday, the next day, they'll take on 2nd-ranked Johnston. So Dowling 6 games this week. They don't play Friday because of 4th of July festivities and what have you. But of the 6 games they play, 2 against number 7 here tonight, then 2 against number 3 on the road, and then they host number 2. So you have 1 versus 2 at Dowling Catholic with Johnston coming to town. There's a beautiful breaker, strike 3 called. First strikeout for Jake English. But if you want to watch some quality high school baseball, just follow this Dowling Catholic team around a little bit. Waukee going to immediately have Southeast Polk ranked number 4 on Wednesday. That's at Southeast Polk in Pleasant Hill, so they'll trek to the other side of the metro, probably about 35, 40 minutes from this location over there. Probably couldn't find a farther trek for any 2 metro high schools. 0-1 the count here to Donovan Akes, the number 6 hitter with 2 outs and runners on second and third. This pitch fouled out of play, and quickly 0-2 as English has really started to hit the strike zone here. Akes on the year, just his 6 games played. He doesn't have any RBIs, but he's 1 for 2 at the plate. So very limited action for this senior, but he gets the start in center and bats 6th here. This delivery catches the outside corner again. Back-to-back strikeouts by Jake English to get out of the jam, but 1 does cross. We're through 1 inning of play. 7th-ranked Waukee on top of number 1 Dowling, 1-0 after 1, right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Hi, Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Waukee back out for inning number 2 defensively. But they did spot a lead to their ace, Jackson Payne. Charlie Carell, Derek Enertson, and Mac Anderson will bat. We talked about it in the open. There is literally no hole offensively in this Dowling Catholic lineup. In some way, the 9 that we're going to see here is basically the 9 that we've seen all season. And there's just not a whole lot you can complain about in terms of, yeah, well, there might be some limitations in this spot or there might be some limitations. That doesn't exist. 109 runs scored in 12 games for this team. And that is no accident. These bats can hit up and down this order. And this may be the best arm they've seen yet as Carell takes ball 1 from Jackson Payne. As mentioned, Payne has allowed just 3 hits now in his first 13 innings of work this season. It is 2-0 to Carell. Carell this season, 455 the average, 525 is his on base, no homers. He does have 12 runs driven in. Tied for the team high coming into this doubleheader. As that is a big rip and well foul right side, 2-1. Now that wind, we don't have dimensions listed out there on the outfield, but pretty standard shape and distance all the way around, as there's a great breaker in there from Payne, and it's 2-2. Not much you're going to be able to do with that. That thing looks like it's coming right at you out of the hand and then takes a hard left turn right across the plate. And now the 2-2 from Payne. Little chopper in front of the plate. Fielded cleanly by Payne. Takes his time, throws to first in time for the first out.
Next up, number
I bring up the outfield dimensions because if you hit one you think you got really solid, you're going to have to hit it even better than that, probably to get it over this wall unless you go straight down the left field line. Wind blowing mainly, it feels out of right center field. So, and it's brisk enough. And you would think that it'll knock down a lot of balls that have high hang time. First pitch misses, 1-0. At game time, temperature here, 84 degrees, 88 degrees, my mistake. Is this a ground ball? Just foul, right side. 1-1 here to Derek Enertson. We'll get to his numbers momentarily. There's a little bit of a threat of rain. Mostly cloudy is what we'll call it. With the UV rays, the humidity, it feels over 90. It says 95 on the weather app. And winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Here is the delivery here to Enertson. Fouled off, and it's 1-2. Enertson, 11 games played as well. 321 his average, 394 is the on base. No homers, but he does have, again, one of those team high 12 runs driven in. The wind and fire. This is a chopper up the middle. Tough play. Backhand stop. Wentworth over to first. Strong defense there by Waukee up the middle. Wentworth having to range with the backhand and with good speed. Enertson hustling down the line. Wentworth able to make a strong, accurate throw to Luke Gaynor to get the out. This team for Waukee, 931 fielding percentage. So it's a little bit below Dowling's, but you can see they have the ability to be very sure-handed there. As anything over really 930 at the high school level is a strong defensive fielding percentage. As Mac Anderson takes a strike, 0-1. Anderson is a junior, .391 is the on base, or pardon, the average. He's got an on base of .517, a home run, 7 runs driven in. He has gotten off to a hot start this season as that second pitch bounces in there. It's 1-0. 2 outs, nobody on here. Payne, with the way he's thrown this season, 1 run very well could be enough, but you certainly don't want to give anything up to the best offense right now in Class 4A. Probably in any class, honestly. It's 2-1 as that pitch missed inside. This one outside, 3-1. Blake Anderson is the on-deck hitter. Should Mac Anderson reach to extend this top half of the second. 3-1. That paints the outside edge of the outside corner, and we go full here, 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on base here for Dowling in their half of inning number 2. Payne sets, winds, fires, and that is ripped foul into the trees here on the right side, which helped protect the road, the street that goes past here. Beautiful area here in the west suburbs. That's off the outside corner, and that's ball 4. Well, here's a stat for you.
Next up, third baseman, number 14, Blake Anderson.
Jackson Payne has struck out 28 batters this season in 13 2/3 innings of work, and that is his first walk he has issued. So that tells you how strong his location has been throughout the year. But that does extend the inning. Mac Anderson at first, and Blake Anderson, left-handed batter, at the plate. The kick and the delivery, and that's there for a strike, 0-1. Anderson, just a 200 average, 400 is the on base, though. He has walked a team high 9 times, just a sophomore. He does have 4 runs driven in. He has 2 doubles, 2 triples, and 2 singles. Those are the hits that he's put together this year. So he does have some pop as well. It's just that consistency at the plate as Anderson goes, strike called. That ball flares away from second base. It'll be a steal for Mac Anderson. For Anderson, that is 3 for 3 now in stolen bases. This is a team that loves to run them. They are now 45 for 47 stealing bases on the year, and that does not include how many extra bases they've taken on balls out into the gaps or in the alley. They are just an aggressive base running team. 0-2 here to Blake Anderson, though. And Payne gets him to swing and miss. Strike 3. Second strikeout recorded by Payne. His first walk of the season goes for naught. We'll head into the bottom of the second, and it is still 1-0. Waukee leading top-ranked Dowling here on CISN.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
It is Jake English going for his second inning of work. He'll take on the lower third of this Waukee order. Jackson Payne, Matthew Jonjurius, and Cooper Kraus.
Pitcher Jackson Payne.
Payne comes to the plate. Of course, known more for his pitching abilities, but certainly going to try to help himself out and get on base here as that hits the knees on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Payne has only batted basically when he's pitched, and he's yet to have a hit so far this season, just 0 for 3, but he has scored a couple of runs. This is a chopper, left side. Anderson goes to a knee, fields it, gets up, fires over to first in time. I've said it once. I've said it a dozen times so far this season, and this is my third time watching Dowling. There is something about Blake Anderson that you just can't teach. Defensively especially, just has a kind of presence and leadership and sure-handedness over there at the hot corner. One of the toughest defensive positions to play right there, going to a knee to field that ball, standing up, making a strong throw to get an important leadoff out. As there's a beautiful breaking ball in there from Jake English to Matt Jonjurius, 0-1. Jonjurius hitting for the shortstop, Colin Evers. Jonjurius on the season, just 0 for 3. There's another strike delivered in there by English, 0-2. So Jonjurius getting a little bit of run. He has drawn a walk, so his on-base percentage is .250, but 0 for 3 at the plate. Not a lot of at-bats. This is fouled back to the screen. Still 0-2. Colin Evers, whom he's batting for, has batted quite a bit, but has struggled. He's just 2 for 21, so not hitting here in game number 1. The 0-2, outside, good eye, check swing on Jonjurius, and it's 1-2. Brand new Iowa High School Baseball Coaches Association polls released today, and both of these teams are in them. Is this 1-2 up high on the fastball? 2-2. Dowling Catholic, number 1. Started the season ranked 7th. They are new number 1, taking over for defending champion Urbandale, who drops to number 3. Waukee, the new number 7, there's another breaker, and Jonjurius doing a good job here. Takes another ball on a breaker outside, and it's full, 3-2. 1 out, nobody on for the DH for the Warriors. And that's chopped foul, and we'll do it yet again. How about 8 pitches here? Jake English gets the sign, winds, fires. Strike 3, inside corner. Jonjurius worked him, but that is strikeout number 3.
Next up, third baseman number 5, Cooper Kraus.
English looking pretty strong so far. Gave up a couple of singles and a walk in that first inning, but last 4 batters he has looked in control of. Cooper Kraus now at the plate. First pitch. Little number foul. Kraus, 200 his average, 310 though the on base. Kraus does have one of the 6 home runs Waukee has hit this season, 2 runs driven in. The 0-1, well outside, and it's 1-1. The sun is out for now. Everything looks okay in terms of the weather. There's a 15% chance of rain. That's very minute and small. As this breaker inside and low, and it's 2-1. You never know, it's Iowa. Did have a lot of cloud cover earlier today in the central Iowa area. The 2-1, that's fouled out of play right side, and 2-2 the count. If Kraus were to reach, Jacob Barton in the top of the Waukee order would be due up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. Jake English winds in, the righty delivers, and there's another foul ball right side. Why would pitch count be a factor? Well, I'll answer that for you as we move forward here, but after you get past 40 pitches, no longer available Wednesday. Is this a chopper on 1 hop? Anderson is there, steps into his throw. It's high, but Carell reels it in. Applies the tag for the out, and that'll retire the side. Good play on both ends there, and after 2 innings of play, 7th-ranked Waukee still leads number 1 Dowling 1-0 here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise, and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
One more inning here for Jackson Payne, at the very least. We know how good Payne is. He went 6 innings each of the first 2 games he has pitched. Looking very strong so far through 2 innings here against the number 1 offense in all of Class 4A. Owen Browk, Nianti Gerke, and Brandon Bickford, your 3 scheduled hitters. To face Payne, Dowling trailing 1-0. Payne fires. That's fouled straight back. 0-1. Owen Browk this season, batting .217, .240 is the on base. He does have 5 runs driven in. Definitely a good glove man over at shortstop. Part of that middle infield with he and Adam Browk, the Browk boys. That just misses. Just off the outside corner, according to home plate umpire Scott Anderson. 1-1 is the count. Payne winds and fires. That ball hit high, deep into left center field. Long run for Donovan Akes, but he's going to get over there and be able to make the catch. It had enough air time for him to get under it, and as I mentioned, anything hit around center field is just going to get knocked down by the wind. So Akes, despite playing into the right center field gap, plenty of room to make the play. Good metal on that one from Browk, but just a fly out, 1 away. Nianti Gerke is the batter, and the first pitch to him from Payne is just a little check swing, but it's out in front of the plate. Payne has to hurry with it, goes to first in time by a step and a half, and that little check swing, Gerke unable to leg it out for an infield hit, and quickly 2 away.
Next up, catcher, number 4, Brandon Bickford.
We're back to the top here for Dowling, and Brandon Bickford is the batter. Bickford popped out, foul ground. Aiden McGee, right fielder, had to make a long run, but made the catch in that first inning. Payne's first pitch to him here. Paints the outside corner, 0-1. Pitch count you're probably looking for here is both these teams don't play Friday. They play Thursday instead. That's just 2 days worth of rest. That makes, there's a swing and a miss, 0-2. If you wanted these 2 pitchers to be available on Thursday, and I just don't think that that's the plan, but it could be, I'm not sure. We'll see how they're going. But if you're over 65 pitches, that could be it. Is ranging over to his left as Cooper Kraus gets back to his feet, throws to first, and that is in time. Seeing some great defense all the way around, especially at the hot corner between Anderson and Kraus. 1, 2, 3, go the Maroons here in the third. We head to the bottom of the third, so 1-0 Waukee right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise, and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
1-0 Waukee. We have bottom 3, top of the Waukee order. Jacob Barton, Jackson Wentworth, Alex Walsh are your 3 scheduled batters. Just to touch on the pitch count. you figure these two pitchers were due for more than 40 pitches, which would put them out of commission for Wednesday. They would require at least 2 days rest after that. But to require the third day of rest, it would be 65 pitches. So if either of these guys go over 65 pitches, this will be the only day in which they can work this week. Wouldn't be available until next Monday. But again, if you're Waukee, Jackson Payne, I mean, this is a chance to beat the #1 team in the state. This would be a huge win for you. Might as well put him out there as long as he can go. Same with Jake English. He's been pretty strong through 2 innings so far. And English hadn't even pitched so far this year, so if he gets you through this entire game, that just saves all the arms that we have seen this year for the other 5 games this week. So it is a juggling act for sure for the coaches in high school baseball with the pitch count rules, but I don't think it's going to be much of a factor here, especially in game 1, as this popped foul out of play. Barton drew a 4-pitch walk first time through. 1-1 now the count to him here to lead off the third. He'll be followed, as mentioned, by Wentworth and Walsh. Sun is shining, and with that sun being out, it certainly feels around the 90-degree mark at least. Nice and hot summer day. That pitch just misses inside, growing from the Dowling supporters. I thought that one looked good from where they were sitting, but said it was a ball inside, according to home plate umpire Scott Anderson. Our base umpire, Ricardo Alvario, he'll be behind the plate for game 2. 3-1 is the count. Nobody out, nobody on. (3-1). Jake English fires. That ball hit on a line out in the shallow center field. Long run. Nobody's going to be able to get there. Enertson will just charge in and snag it off a bounce.
Now hitting second baseman, number 32.
So Barton on for the second time as a third Waukee hit, and Jackson Wentworth is up. He popped out right in front of the pitcher's mound. Third baseman Blake Anderson called for it and squeezed it back in the first. Barton, as mentioned, in the first inning, had just 1 stolen base coming in, but he did steal second in that first inning. The first pitch bounces in. There's 1-0. Good job by Bickford behind home plate to make sure that that ball didn't get away. 1 ball, no strikes to the number 2 hitter. Wentworth grounds this one. This is over to Browk at short. He's going to go to second for 1. Quick turn, but not going to have a chance to make the double play. But it's a good job by the Browk boys up the middle to combine on the force out. 6-4 in your book for the first out. Fielder's choice for Wentworth on the reach. And now the catcher, Alex Walsh, will come up. He hit a little blooper out into right field. That was first time through in the first inning. Wentworth on base. He is 0 for 1 in stolen base attempts. This team for Waukee just does not have the speed nor the aggressiveness that Dowling has. It's 1-0 here to Walsh. As mentioned, coming in, Dowling 44 for 46 in 12 games played. They're 45 of 47 now. 45 steals in 12-plus games. That is a large number. That is over 3 stolen bases successfully per game. Nearly 4. When they steal bases, they steal them in bunches. That's fouled out of play. For Dowling, that is a big part of the game. For Waukee, it hasn't been. Just 9 of 14 coming in. They're now 10 of 15, so just a 66% success rate as this big break kind of slips out of the hand, comes out high. 2-1 the count. But Waukee averaging less than 1 successful stolen base per game. Now, they already have won this particular game, but not a big lead by Wentworth at first. This ball hit hard out into center field. Enertson doesn't really have to move at all to get it. He'll look the runner back to first, and there are 2 outs.
Next up, number 19, right fielder.
And now the top hitter in this order, Aiden McGee, comes up. First pitch he saw, first time through, from Jake English. He hit a little soft line drive out into right field, which plated the first run of the game, and the only run of the game to this point. Bottom of the third inning, it is still just 1-0. 7th-ranked Waukee leading number 1 Dowling. Out of the stretch, this first pitch well outside. 1-0. McGee has been a little bit strikeout prone, has struck out more than anybody else in this order, 9 times this season, but in terms of making contact and making it hurt, he has certainly been the top guy in the order. A 750 slugging percentage. Only Barton has a better number. The leadoff man that we saw, as this pitch is low, 3-0. McGee also draws walks. Jalen Martinez has been the leader in that department for Waukee. We do not see him in the lineup here for game 1. There's a strike, 3-1. There are some bats in this Waukee order. Just has not resulted in the offensive explosiveness we've seen. As that pitch inside, and it's ball 4. Second walk issued by English. And that'll put runners on first and second with 2 outs for Luke Gaynor. Yeah, Dowling, the offense has just been incredible. Their low this season is 4 runs scored. They have been in double figures over half of their games so far this season, including some big numbers like 15 plus. The first pitch, a check swing, and that pitch comes in low, maybe a little inside, and it's 1-0. Gaynor went down on strikes, looking back in the first, and he's got a chance here to maybe allow Waukee to get a little bit more of a cushion than just the 1 run shows right now. Quick pickoff move to second, not in time. Wentworth and McGee are the 2 runners. The batter is Luke Gaynor, and a 1-0 pitch on the way from Jake English. Just fouled straight back off the screen. 1-1. This facility just to the west of Waukee High School. It's a school that after next year will be splitting into 2 schools within the district, Waukee Northwest. So that certainly will change the dynamic in this suburb, as that's off the end of the bat and straight back foul, 1-2. Dowling Catholic, a private school, of course, being Catholic. A lot of success in plenty of games, plenty of sports, I should say. Football, most notably, continue their incredible streak of state championships at the Class 4A level. And here in baseball, they look like they're going to be one of the teams to beat as well. Quick pickoff move back to second, nothing doing. Always a risk doing that quick 180 turn and throw out to second base. If you happen to miss that throw, it's at least 1 base for the runners, and if it takes the center fielder a while to corral it, you might have some speed out there. But this is a ground ball over to the second baseman Browk. Quick throw after he knocks it down, makes a great throw. Man, the infield defense has been absolutely stellar on both sides here the first 3 innings, as Adam Browk saves potentially a run from scoring, knocking that down with his chest on a knee, throws to first for the out, and Waukee still leads Dowling 1-0 through 3 here on CISN.
Central Bank, proud to be a long-standing Iowa tradition. Founded in 1887 in Storm Lake, we've grown over the years from that one location to a bank serving Northwest and Central Iowa, employing more than 200 people in the region. Being here and being from here, it makes Central Bankers unique in the banking world. Decisions are made here. Investments of our time and resources are made here. For us, banking is still about people. Our reverence for community and hard work speaks to a proud Iowa heritage. Our passion for small business to bold new directions forward for our bank and the Iowans we serve. Thank you for your support of Central Bank. Let's keep it going. Let's plan together. Let's execute for Iowa's small business, agricultural, and individual banking customers. Central Bank is ready to make it happen. Member FDIC.
It is Jackson Payne, who continues to be spotless on the season, still yet to allow a run, and has just allowed one base runner in this game, and it came via a walk back in the second. Mac Anderson, that's the first walk issued this season. Jackson Payne, first-team All-State caliber, without a doubt. But now, Hank Hamrick, Adam Browk, Charlie Carell's second time through. So we start seeing these very dangerous Dowling bats come through once again. Payne's first pitch, hooks in there for a strike, 0-1. Hamrick at the plate went 0 for 1 so far with a strikeout back in the first, went down swinging. Payne winds up, fires that pitch off the outside. Good check swing there by Hamrick, and it's 1-1. Payne, much like several other baseball stars of Central Iowa, that is fouled back, 1-2. Committed to the University of Iowa. Made that announcement late October. So certainly going to relish the last little bit of high school he has. Didn't know if you'd have a senior season, did Payne, but certainly highly touted. Last week, went 7 innings of work and struck out 16 of the 21 outs he got. That just tells you the kind of dominance this guy has. This one outside, 2-2. But this offense is not your everyday high school offense. This Dowling Catholic team has bats up and down the order, and getting them out 3 straight times as Hamrick puts a charge into that one foul. And it'll still be 2-2. Trying to defeat number 1 team is never easy, but especially when you see the offensive numbers Dowling Catholic has put up against good teams. I mean, it's not like they have just been playing 3A teams or teams that are not being looked at for the rankings. This is grounded up the middle. It's off of Payne. Throw will not be made. That'll go in my book as an infield hit for Hamrick. Payne tried to field it on a couple of tricky hops right back at him. And I think it might have hit his glove, but it's always tough. You can charge a throwing error to a pitcher, no doubt about that, but a fielding error is always just a little bit tricky. The guy's finishing his throwing motion on a comebacker like that. It does take an exceptional play defensively to field that, a ball not hit directly at you that you have to take a couple of steps on. That's the first hit of this game, just the 4th hit allowed by Jackson Payne this season. And with a runner on at first base, we'll see how often he checks on Hamrick, who is a base-stealing threat, and he goes. First pitch in there for a strike, throw down to second base. Not going to be in time, leaks out into center, but not far enough. Good covering by the center fielder, Donovan Eggs. 0-1 the count to Adam Browk, who popped up in foul ground to the catcher, Alex Walsh, behind the plate. Hamrick stealing second. He is now 13 of 13 in steals. Well, by far and away, the team high for a very, very aggressive base running team in Dowling. So he's got great speed at second. Corners of the infield come in, just in case a bunt is going to be laid down by Browk here in the 3-hole. He does not show bunt and takes another strike. 0-2 now the count. Leadoff man on. You don't know how many opportunities, despite how good your offense might be, against a guy like Payne. So we'll see how Dowling, with nobody out, tries to get this run across to potentially tie this game. By the way, that was the first hit of the game, so that took away any thoughts of maybe a no-hitter. It's a foul ball. It hit the bat twice. Scott Anderson, home plate umpire, now is going to talk with Ricardo Alverio, his base umpire. I think they want to see if it was touched a second time in fair play or if it was just touched a second time while Browk was in the batter's box. If it was outside the batter's box, he's out. If he was inside the batter's box, just a foul ball. So, looks like it was called a foul ball. And we'll do another 0-2. Dave Dirks comes out of the Waukee dugout, and he just wants to get a little explanation from Scott Anderson. Gets it. And now Browk will dig back in with an 0-2 count. Nobody out, and that runner at second base. A little swinging bunt wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, honestly. Just really the big part of this at-bat is moving that runner to third at all costs. Browk would like to do one better, maybe even drive him in. Another 0-2 here from Payne out of the stretch. The kick and the delivery. That's roped down the right field line, and that's fair. And the runner will score from second. Browk on his way to second. He'll have a double as the ball squirts away. But no advancement there. Browk, an absolute rope. And that is the first run allowed by Jackson Payne this year. It took over 30 innings of work, or pardon, over 14 innings of work, over 30 outs the last week. He only has allowed 5 hits now all season long, but that is the first run he's allowed. And that was no cheapie. Browk with an opposite field shot. An RBI double ties this game at 1. Now showing bunt, Charlie Carell lays down a beauty. Picked up by Payne. His throw to first is wide. Carell will take second. Browk scores on the play. You put it in motion, this aggressive team, they will take advantage. It'll go in the book E1. Jackson Wentworth, at first base, trying to cover. The second baseman ran over there, but it looked like the throw led him kind of in the direction of the dugout, and he also is thinking about where that runner is coming from. Certainly not a throw that Payne was looking for, but he had to hurry because Carell was hustling down the line. It'll be a sacrifice bunt. E1, two-base error. So now Carell at second. There is still nobody out here for Dowling in the top of the 4th. 2 runs are in. And Derek Enertson, the junior center fielder, will come up. He grounded to second base back in the second. We talked about just even the second time through, these guys, these batters, they just know how to pick up what the opposing pitcher's doing, even one that's as good as Jackson Payne. First pitch to Enertson, he shows bunt. He pops it up, foul, out of play, over everything. That's going to make it all the way to the road and across it. 0-1 the count to him with Mac Anderson on deck. 2-1, top-ranked Dowling leading Waukee. Hot, but really nice late afternoon for some baseball here in the western suburbs. Another bunt shown. Enertson will take it. Big lead, and the tag is going to be applied. Carell just kind of got lost there. He got caught between second and third. Heads up play by Alex Walsh behind the dish. Picks him off. Going 2-4 in the book for the first out. That's a big first out, but Carell tried to get a big head start heading to third. We talked about the aggressiveness. That pitch was high. Enertson took it for a ball. Carell was literally halfway between second and third. Tried to retreat on the throw back to second, but was tagged out as he dove back in. So with 1 away, now the base is empty. 2 runs across. Enertson bats, but of course off now, and 2-1 the count. That's up high. It's 3-1. Dowling making Jackson Payne work. Big righty now. Tries to avoid his second walk issue to this game. He had not walked anyone through his first 2 games and 12 innings of work. This one, foul, right side, and that will be unplayable. And the count goes full now, 3-2. Wind still pretty persistent out there. It's mainly blowing now, a little bit more right to left action. As there's foul tipped into the middle wall, strike 3. Just the 3rd strikeout recorded.
Left fielder, number 31, Mac Anderson.
2 outs now for Mac Anderson, who drew a walk and stole a base first time through in the second. Definitely, though, got to give credit to this Dowling offense. There's a big hook in there, 0-1 to Anderson. So through 3 2/3 innings, just 3 strikeouts recorded by Payne. Last time he appeared in a game, he had 16 strikeouts. And you can directly attribute that to the offense that he is facing. But now quickly 0-2 here to Anderson. Ground ball, left side. Diving play made over by Kraus. Long throw is high, but not in time. If that was on target, it certainly would have been out. But by the time the first baseman, Luke Gaynor, landed back on the bag, he was safe. What an effort, though, by Kraus. Diving down the line, kept the ball in play for an out. But in my book, that is certainly an infield hit. Now Blake Anderson comes up. The sophomore struck out swinging first time up in the second. So Anderson aboard. This ground ball right back. Payne tosses to first, and that's in time for the out. But 2-run score for Dowling. We're halfway home. It is Maroons 2, Warriors 1 here on CISN.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise, and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
You want to get stronger, faster, healthier. You want more. You want to be part of something bigger than yourself. A place for people of all ages, all walks of life, that provides opportunities for all to succeed. We do that. We're the why. Build more than muscle. Build a stronger community.
Leading off for the Warriors, center fielder number
It'll be 6, 7, 8. Donovan Akis, Jackson Payne, and Matthew Jonjurius, the 3 scheduled batters here to face Jake English. And English now working with the lead for the first time, delivers a good breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Akis is 0 for 1, struck out looking against English first time through, back in the first inning. That one's blown away, and it's 1-1. So 2 runs scored on 3 hits. There was 1 error defensively. 1 was left on base for Dowling in their half of the fourth. As Akis goes through this one, it's 1-2. Does Waukee have a way to scratch across another 1 or 2 runs here? We got plenty of time to find out. Just in the bottom of the 4th inning of game 1 of 2. This one off the fist a little bit. Slow roller out to second. Owen Browk with it over to first base. It was a wide throw, though. And Akis reaches. That'll be E4. Carell came off the bag. The throw was a little bit wide. He tried to sweep a tag on, but it was to no avail. So we've seen plenty of great infield defense, but a couple of wide throws here the last 2 half innings. And now Jackson Payne bats with a runner on first and nobody out. Shows bunt, lays it down, first base side and foul. Payne grounded to third base, Blake Anderson. Made a couple of really strong plays back in that second inning. English working with a 2-1 lead. His offense got him 2 runs in the top half of this 4th inning. Now he and his defense try to keep it there for the lower portion of the order, which is due up in the 5th. That pitch up high. Oh, and they got the runner stuck in between bases. Bickford throws to second. Tag is applied in time. That'll go in the books, caught stealing. As that ball was low, kind of got away from Bickford initially. Bickford decided to fake the throw to first, which kind of led Akis to trying to take second. That was a great, wise move by Bickford just to fake the throw to see which direction the runner was going. And he'll get credit, caught stealing 2-6 for the first out. 2-1 now the count here to Payne. And the bunt obviously off with nobody on, but that's a heady play, man. That fake throw. And as Payne watches this one, and he did go around with the intent to swing, according to home plate umpire Scott Anderson, and that makes it 2-2. If he would have just thrown it to first base, that would have been real tough to get the runner at second, but instead he kind of faked the throw to first, then threw to second, and was accurate enough to pick up the caught ceiling. Is that pitch just high? The Dowling fans, a little moan at that one as well. Pretty close up high, but instead it's a full count, 3-2. One out, nobody on. Here's Payne. Takes ball 4. Third walk issued by English. Payne is aboard. Looks like we'll have a courtesy runner for him, the pitcher. And it will be Joe White.
Designated hitter, number 2, Matthew John Jurius.
So Joe White is the runner for courtesy at first base. Has not tried to steal a base to this point, but he is aboard as the courtesy, and the DH, Matt Junjurius, is at the plate. First pitch from English. Little check swing right back up the middle. Nice play by English. Goes to second for one. Over to first in time. What a double play. Great range shown by Jake English. Stabbing at it with the backhand. Accurate throw to second. It goes 1-6-3. A very impressive double play turn by Owen Browk up the middle as well. And we're through 4. It's still 2-1 Dowling over Waukee here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Wednesday on Central Iowa Sports Network, we have the Battle of Ankeny. Centennial taking on the Ankeny Hawks. Couple of really solid baseball teams. Softball as well in action. Games scheduled to start 5 p.m. You can watch them all, CISN.TV. Single game pass will get you in for $5. You can get the rest of the season for $30. CISN.TV, Centennial taking on the Ankeny Hawks. Here as we start the top of the 5th inning. For Dowling, Owen Browk, Nianti Gerke, and Brandon Bickford, the 3 scheduled hitters. 0-1 here to Browk. Jackson Payne delivers another ball. This one slow roller up to short, picked up. Long stretch over at first base in time. Luke Gaynor really just had one cleat basically on first base. Colin Evers made the play at his shortstop position for the first out of the inning.
Next up, designated hitter, number 28, Nianti Gerke.
Nianti Gerke is up now. He had a little check swing right back to the mound. Payne was able to make the play on him back in the 3rd inning. First pitch to him here is a breaker, inside corner, strike 1. By my count, one of those 2 runs last inning for Dowling was unearned, thanks to the throwing error. Of course, it was Payne that made that mistake. As no mistake on these breaking balls, man, they are locked in. Both pitchers now have surpassed the 65 pitch mark by my count, so this will be the only time they'll be able to pitch this week since there are no games Friday. That's slowing away. Good take by Gerke. It's 1-2. So it's basically up to these guys to try to finish these games out or go as far as they can for their teams. It's been an impressive one so far. Both teams just 3 hits each. As that just misses. Looked pretty good from here. Scott Anderson said it wasn't a strike. Catcher Alex Walsh prepared to toss it down to third base, but it was just ball 2. 2-2 the count, 1 out. The pitch from Payne, and that's in the dirt, and it's 3-2. University of Iowa commit Jackson Payne had to work a lot harder today than he has each of the first 2 outings he had. He didn't allow a hit till the 4th inning today, but he has had to work through a lot of pitches. And Gerke ends up drawing a walk. Nianti Gerke, second walk issued in this game and on the season.
Next up, catcher, number 4.
By Jackson Payne. Gerke, that is the 7th time he's drawn a walk. That's second on the team behind only Blake Anderson. So he does have a good eye for the strike zone, and he's aboard at first with 1 out. And we're back to the top. Very dangerous. Every time you see a good offense go third time through, and that's where we're at here. Brandon Bickford takes a strike. 0-1. Bickford is 0 for 2. We flew out to right field and foul ground. Aiden McGee made a nice running catch out there on him back in the first, and then he grounded to third. Cooper Kraus made a great play diving as Gerke dives back in. Gerke's just 1 for 1 in stolen bases this season. But with this Dowling club, you cannot rule anyone out from trying to take a base. They are not afraid to run on you. 0-1 the count. Another quick look at first. Gerke again dives back in safely. You can tell Payne not going to let Gerke get a head start on him. Brandon Bickford, the senior backstop. Payne out of the stretch, kicks, fires. Gerke a fake and a little 360. There's a called strike. You don't see that every day. Gerke took 2 hard steps on the move towards second, then stopped, did a little spin move to stay put. No throw down from Walsh, but certainly making this battery think is Gerke over there at first base, and he's got a good lead again. 0-2 the count. Now he goes. That's in there, strike 3 called. Throw down to second in time. What a throw by Walsh. No, it's not in time. The throw was there, just not able to be secured. Gerke will get credit for his second stolen base on the season.
Right fielder, number 12, Hank Hamrick.
Bickford goes down on strikes looking. That is strikeout number 4 recorded by Payne. Gerke at second. That is with 2 outs now, and a hard-hitting number 2 batter, Hank Hamrick. Hamrick, an infield single last time up. Just got through Jackson Payne as he tried to field it going to his left off a couple of hops. He would eventually steal a base and score. And he'll take a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Hamrick, one of many important seniors on this squad. That ball squirts away. Gerke will head to third. Wild pitch in the book. 1-1 here to Hamrick. So now it makes it a little bit easier, I suppose. Hamrick going to play some Division I baseball as well. He is committed to the Bradley University, I should say, BU, Peoria, Illinois. Going to stay in the Midwest. And he ropes that ball foul down the right field line. 1-2. Yeah, Hamrick also known for his exploits on the football field. Is the signal caller for the perennial powerhouse that is the Dowling Catholic Maroon. This one in the dirt as well, 2-2. I believe it's 7 now, consecutive state championships, but they haven't lost in a playoff game since Hamrick was certainly in elementary school. And here he is, a senior. 4 state championships in football later. He'd love to add a baseball one there before he heads to Bradley to play some Baseball, ground ball, fielded by Evers, throw to first in time by a half step. Nice play, again up the middle, and that saves what could have been a run with the swift running, Hank Hamrick running down to first base. Gerke walks, gets to third, but cannot score through 4.5. Still 2-1. Number 1 Dowling over 7th-ranked Waukee on CISN.
Central Bank, proud to be a long-standing Iowa tradition. Founded in 1887 in Storm Lake, we've grown over the years from that one location to a bank serving northwest and central Iowa, employing more than 200 people in the region. Being here and being from here, it makes Central Bankers unique in the banking world. Decisions are made here. Investments of our time and resources are made here. For us, banking is still about people. Our reverence for community and hard work speaks to a proud Iowa heritage. Our passion for small business to bold new directions forward for our bank and the Iowans we serve. Thank you for your support of Central Bank. Let's keep it going. Let's plan together. Let's execute for Iowa's small business, agricultural, and individual banking customers. Central Bank is ready to make it happen. Member FDIC.
New pitcher for Dowling, Joe McCarger, will take over for Jake English. English in the book, 4 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned with 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. By my count, 70 pitches, 40 strikes, 30 balls. That should leave him unavailable for the rest of the week as Dowling plays Wednesday and Thursday. He wouldn't be available until Friday via pitch count rules. So Joe McCarger, 4 relief appearances though already this season. He's thrown 5 1/3 innings of work, and he's been good. 2.62 the ERA, 1.50 the whip. That's walks and hits per innings pitched. He's walked 5, struck out 7 in 5 1/3 innings. Opponents just hitting 111 against him. It's really just, can he avoid the free pass? Otherwise, he has been very strong this year. It'll be 9-1-2 for Waukee. And the first batter, Cooper Kraus, takes the ball 1-0. McCarger, right-hander. He is a senior. And that one at the knees, a strike, 1-1. No other defensive changes necessary as English was not batting in the order. He was being hit for by the DH, Nianti Gerke. So just a pretty easy change of the 2 pitchers. Is that a called strike on the inside corner, and it is 1-2. Nobody out, nobody on, bottom of the 5th. McCarger comes inside with another breaker that nearly hits Kraus, but instead it's just a ball. It's 2-2. Kraus grounded to third. Blake Anderson made a nice play on him to end the 2nd inning. It'll be Jacob Barton and Jackson Wentworth. The other 2 players due up this inning for Waukee and head coach Dave Dirks. But here Kraus has worked the count full 3-2. McCarger doesn't have a big windup, just the kick in the fire. That ball a little off the fist. That's a tough play. McCarger can't field it, and it'll be an infield hit. I want to talk about as perfect a little fister as you can find, dropping it just over the pitcher and in front of the second baseman. Such a tough play for both players to make, especially at normal depth of the second baseman. No choice but to call that an infield hit. Sometimes you get lucky on something that you don't make good contact on, and that's exactly what happened with Kraus there. And that's important because you got the leadoff man on here with the top of the order coming up to face McCarger, down by a run here in the bottom of the 5th. First pitch on the way. Big swing by Barton, but he fouls it straight back, 0-1. Barton's reached both times. Drew a walk, stole a base, scored a run back in the 1st, and then singled up the middle in the 3rd. Looking at base running. No base stealing attempts for Cooper Kraus so far this year. This pitch in the dirt, nice dig behind home plate by Bickford. He kind of tilts his head a little bit, saying, didn't know if I was going to get to that one, but he does. And he shows why he is as sure-handed a backstop as you'll find here in Central Iowa. The ball. 2-1. Bickford, by the way, is playing some baseball at the next level. He's going to be playing at Mount Mercy in AIA school in Cedar Rapids. Playing in the Heart of America Athletic Conference. Is that pitch off the outside corner, and it's 3-1. Plenty of talent for both these teams, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Number 1 and number 7 certainly tells you that there's a lot of talent here. But even those college commitments tell you even a bigger story, as that's fouled straight back. And we're full here to Jacob Barton. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out. The runner, Cooper Kraus, over at first base. Waukee trailing by a run. Might have a good chance here, top part of the order, to try to get one across and tie this game up. Payoff. Off the outside corner, ball 4. Talked about it. McCarger's biggest issues to this point this season isn't that guys are hitting him hard. He's basically allowing a walk per inning. And now with the number 2 batter, Jackson Wentworth, due up, there'll be a meeting on the hill. The infield and the battery will all meet. Could let you know about the standings one more time here for these 2 teams in the CIML. These are in 2 separate divisions within the Central Iowa Metro League. Dowling, of course, ranked number 1 in the state. They're 11-1 on the season. Johnston, number 2 ranked. They are 10-2. Urbandale, who's 3rd ranked, is in a 3-way tie with Ankeny and Ankeny Centennial. Centennial also among the top teams in the state. Ankeny very good as well, with Ames finally rounding out. That Central Division is just so loaded. Waukee sitting behind a very good number 4th ranked Southeast Polk squad, who are 9-3, Waukee 7-5, with Mason City, Fort Dodge Valley, and Marshalltown rounding out the order there. After the meeting is adjourned, we have runners on first and second, and Jackson Wentworth to the plate. He is 0 for 2. Tying run at second, and it's a bunt. Wentworth bunts it. McCarger looked at third, now fires to first. It will be in time. It goes 1-4 on the sac bunt. McCarger knew exactly how much time he had
Number 4, Alex Walsh.
to look at third base. Thought better of it. Kraus was bearing in on Blake Anderson, and it would have taken an absolute perfect throw and as hard as he could to even have a chance to get him out. Said, let me take the sure out. He does. Again, that's 1-4 as Adam Browk, the second baseman, covering first, was Corral coming in to charge. And that'll bring up Alex Walsh, the senior catcher, who's 1 for 2 with a prime spot. And now we're going to get Mark Roaring out to talk to his pitcher, at least talking. It looks like we're going to get a change. So the day is done for Joe McCarger. He'll only get 1 out and face 3 batters. We'll let you know about the change when we come back after 1 minute right here. Pitching change. Waukee had a chance to tie or take the lead here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Logan Cox comes in from the bullpen. The right-hander inherits a couple of runners in scoring position. It's going to be a tough jam to get out of with the meat of the order coming up here for Waukee. McCarger responsible for the runners on second and third. Those are Jacob Barton and Cooper Kraus respectively. Just 1 out in the inning, and Alex Walsh due up here for Waukee. Logan Cox, 3 appearances, 1 start. He's 2-0 this season on the hill. 2.17 the ERA, 1.14 the whip. done an excellent job in 9 2/3 innings. He has walked just 2 and struck out 8. Opponents are hitting .209 against him, and Alex Walsh comes up to face him with the infield in. Anything hardly, or soundly hit, I should say, to any of the infielders will be a play at home plate, or they're just going to avoid the runner from having a chance to go on contact. This is fouled out of play by Walsh, 0-1. Walsh singled in the first inning, then flew out to center in the third. The 0-1, that one low and away. 1-1 the count. Alex Walsh going to Iowa Central to play college baseball. As there's a strike on the outside corner. That's a big pitch on 1-1 to Walsh. So we'll see if Logan Cox can get a much-needed strikeout to get his team 1 out away from getting out of this jam and still have the lead. Waukee down by 1. This is fouled out of play behind everything. One and 2 still the count. Aiden McGee is on deck. The reason you pitch here to Walsh with the base open is because you might decide to work around McGee. We'll see, though. They might come right after him. You never know. 1 and 2 once again here to Walsh. Ground ball, left side, runner going. Knocked down by Browk. His throw over to first base is away. Gets away. Runner will come home. Either way, there was going to be an RBI, but everybody else advances. E6. Walsh will get credit for the RBI regardless. There's a good at-bat there from Walsh. Dylan Fuqua comes in as the courtesy runner again at second base after the misplay. It's a tough play. When the infield is in like that, don't have a lot of reaction time. Browk, the shortstop, slid to his right, knocked it down, stood up, tried to throw it to first base, and it just bounced in there and got away from Carell. What a play by Bickford on the first pitch here to McGee. 1-0. McGee is 1 for 1, an RBI single into right field first time up, and then he drew a walk in the third. Both of those were against Jake English. Now he's got an RBI opportunity here. This is spots a guy like this thrives in as he fouls this out of play right side, 1-1. We'll see if the decision to pitch here to the biggest bat in this order pays off. McGee, 357 the average coming into this game, 455 the on base, tied for second in RBIs with 8, and he also has 2 home runs on the year. He waits on that breaker very nicely. And it's 1 and 2 though, as Cox again would love a strikeout here. The infield still playing in on a ball hit directly to them. They want to come home. They want to force the runner at third to think about coming home. But that also gives up some of their range capabilities, as we saw with that last hit in the hole by Walsh. Cox delivers the 1-2. Chopped, foul. Just getting the edge of the bat on that one was McGee. McGee is just a junior. One ball, 2 strikes to him here once again with runners on second and third and still just 1 out. And there's strike 3. Got him looking on the outside corner. That's a huge pitch from Cox. McGee, I think, was looking for the breaker one more time. Did not get it.
First baseman, number 12, Luke Gaynor.
And now, with 2 outs in the inning, Luke Gaynor is going to be tasked with trying to give Waukee the lead. The go-ahead run is at third. Another runner is at second. Gaynor is 0 for 2, struck out looking and grounded to second, both against Jake English. Is this a chopped foul? 0-1. The left-handed batter facing Cox for the first time. Luke Gaynor going to Iowa Western Community College in Council Bluffs to continue his baseball career. This one bounces in, but Bickford blocks it. That is the second clutch block by Bickford since Cox has come on with a runner at third base. One and one the count. That ball hit hard out in the left field. Long run. Mac Anderson trying to track it down, and it bounces off the wall on a hop. 2 runs will score. Gaynor will get into second base, and that shows you what kind of bat he's got in the 5-hole. 2-run double for Luke Gaynor, and Waukee now has a 4-2 lead. And with 2 outs in the inning, that is as clutch as it gets as we enter the later stages of this game. And Donovan Akes will come up 0 for 2. Struck out swinging, or looking rather, in the first against English, and then reached on an error. That 2 is against English. That one in there for a strike, 0-1. Luke Gaynor, the hit of the game to this point. A 2-run double down the left field corner. Mac Anderson gave it the best he could. As here's a quick pickoff throw to second, not quite in time. Bang, bang play. Gaynor gets the hand back in. That's a good pickoff move from Cox, though. Well orchestrated with Owen Browk, the shortstop, but base umpire Ricardo Alvario says not in time. This one popped straight up, foul ground, and that'll get into the stands here. Quickly 0-2. So Akes is going to try to keep the inning alive here, but he is in an 0-2 hole, 2 outs and a runner on second. The kick and the pitch. Outside low a little bit. 1-2 the count. Akes going to try to help Waukee keep this 3-run inning alive. The 1-2. Check swing. Did he go? Not according to home plate umpire Scott Anderson. They're going to check. He did not. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second base. Logan Cox trying to maneuver out of trouble here. There's a beautiful pitch, outside corner, strike 3 called. Second strikeout in relief for Cox, and that'll end the frame. But 3-run score, Waukee has taken the lead on number 1, Dowling Catholic. We're going to head into the 6th. 4-2 Warriors over the Maroons here on CISN.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury. Whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
Waukee will send out their ace, Jackson Payne. Through 5 innings. He's had 1 rough inning. That's really the only rough inning he's had all season to this point. Gave up 2 runs, 1 earned on 3 hits, 1 error, and 1 was left on base back in the 4th. And it's the same part of the order that'll be seeing him again here. 3, 4, 5 due up. Adam Browk, Charlie Carell, Derek Enertson to face Payne. And Dowling trailing by a score of 4-2. And they have 6 offensive outs left to play with.
Number 27, Adam Browk.
So Adam Browk will come to the plate. Dowling 11-1 this season. Number 1 in the state, and the brand new rankings out today from the Iowa High School Baseball Coaches Association. And one of the best pitchers in the state delivers a first pitch that's blooped high looper into left field. Jacob Barton there. Ball had a little bit more pop on it than I thought it did toward the end of the bat, but first pitch, 1 pitch, 1 out as Browk flies out to left, and that'll bring up Charlie Carell, who's 0 for 1, grounded right back to Payne in the second, and then reached on a throwing error by Payne after he laid down what would have been a successful sacrifice bunt. The wind and fire from Payne. This bounces in all the way to the backstop. It's 1-0. Charlie Carell. Carell also an excellent pitcher. Have not gotten any indication as to the idea of who's going to pitch game 2. Carell would be a good idea for that if you're thinking about it. As on the 1-0 pitch, a grounder over to shortstop. Colin Evers, no problem with it for the second out. And quickly 2 away.
Next up, center fielder, number 17, Derek Enertson.
The only loss that number 1 Dowling has this season came back on the 19th of June, Friday, the 3rd day of the season. They lost 2-1 to Mason City. That's in there for a strike. 0-1 here to Derek Enertson. He's 0 for 2, grounded a second in the second, and then struck out swinging in the 4th. That was on the road at Mason City. It's been at least 4 runs each and every game so far this season, besides that 1 run against Mason City in game 2 of that doubleheader. Other than that, they've been spotless, as Enertson, a little cue shot found down the right side. But some of these teams that they've beaten, Southeast Polk with a sweep, Ankeny Centennial with a sweep, Valley with a sweep. This Dowling team is certainly one to be reckoned with. But Waukee giving them everything they want to handle here. That pitch just misses, a little high. And it's 1-2. 2 outs, nobody on for Enertson. As Waukee trying to be just the second team to pull off a win against these Maroons this year. This low. 2-2. Just calm just a little bit. It was really blowing there for a while early in this game, but mainly coming from the right center field area, blowing toward the left field corner. His late swing, just getting a piece of it to stay alive as Enertson. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs with nobody on here. Jackson Payne, the big righty, fires. Pop up, shallow right field. McGee under it, can of corn for him, makes the catch. 1, 2, 3. Go the Maroons here in the 6th, and Payne right back to work the right way. We'll head into the bottom of the 6th. Waukee will be looking for some insurance coming up next right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Hi, Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
New pitcher for Dowling here in the 6th inning. They're going to go to Owen Browk. Browk, 2 relief appearances, or 2 appearances. He started one game, came in relief in one. 3 innings of work, an ERA of 7, a whip of 2, 176 opponents sitting against him. It was really the 3 walks and then just a couple of timely hits that kind of chased him in those appearances. But he's basically just a stopgap guy at this point. The junior, Logan Cox, in relief. His day done, at least this game. 2/3 of an inning of work. He allowed 1 hit. He allowed 1 run. It was not an earned run. No walks, 2 strikeouts. He threw 18 pitches, 13 of which were strikes, and 5 were balls. He'll be available as soon as Wednesday if needed. Theoretically, he could also pitch later on tonight if they wanted him to, but not something you see too awful much is the same pitcher get 2 different appearances in 2 different games on the same night. Owen Browk was playing shortstop, so to replace him at short is Jake Steingreber. So Steingreber, the new shortstop for Dowling. He is a junior as well. 7, 8, 9 due up for the Warriors to face Browk. And Jackson Payne's first swing is a foul ball off the hands, 0-1. Payne is 0 for 1. In the 2nd inning, he grounded to third base, and in the 4th, he drew a walk. He's likely going to get a chance to finish this game. He's thrown 87 pitches. This is a chopper left side. Nice play ranging to his left. Blake Anderson makes the easy throw over. He continues to show his abilities at third base, showing plenty of range there on a little chopper. And Matthew Junjurius, the senior designated hitter, comes up. He's 0 for 2. Struck out looking back in the 2nd. And then an excellent double play was turned up the middle. Jake English went to Owen Browk, who was at shortstop at the time. And he made an amazing turnover to Correll at first base to get out of the 4th inning. First pitch misses, 1-0. And Jurius puts a charge into that ball, but well fouled down the left field line, and it's 1-1. Pretty much the entire Dowling outfield is straight up and spread out. Third baseman Anderson even with the bag at third. Everybody else, normal depth around the infield as well. 1-1. There's a nice breaking ball. And it's 1-2 here to John Jurius with Cooper Kraus, the on-deck hitter. Looking ahead to the top of the 7th, which would be Dowling's last shot, as Jurius hits a single down there in the left field. Well done by John Jurius. Hit one real hard that direction a couple of pitches earlier. And that is his first hit of the season. First hit for John Jurius comes here in the 6th. Has not got a lot of opportunities, but shows there that he can get himself on base. And now Cooper Kraus is on to the plate. He is 1 for 2. Hit a little blooper over Joe McCarger, in between McCarger, who was pitching, and the second baseman, Adam Browk. They did the best they could to try to converge on him, but it just dropped perfectly in between them, and by the time they even fielded the ball, Kraus was standing at first base, and that got everything started in that 3-run 5th inning, which allowed Waukee to take the lead as that ball is hammered down the left field line, and that is just foul. Cooper Kraus, the 1-1 count now to him with 1 out and a runner on first. Another good swing. Getting some swings here are the bottom of the order guys against Owen Browk. As I mentioned, if you want that wind to not be much of a factor in terms of knocking the ball down, that left field corner is probably the spot to be, but that one might have been blown just a little bit foul by that wind, which is kind of blowing that direction from right center field. 2-1 the count here to the senior third baseman. Browk out of the stretch, slide steps and fires. paints the outside edge of the outside corner, and it's 2-2. As I mentioned, looking ahead for Dowling, they're going to bring up 6, 7, and 8. Mac Anderson, Blake Anderson, and Owen Browk, the 3 scheduled hitters, to face one of the state's best pitchers. Slice slip, this is a ground ball. Anderson, tough hop, able to get to first or second for 1. No chance to get the double play as Kraus hustling down the line. Fielder's choice. Anderson was kind of caught in the middle there at third base. Couldn't decide if he wanted to charge that thing or let it bounce. Probably made the smart choice, but that second hop, that short hop, always tough to field properly. He was able to do so, make an accurate throw to second base. Adam Browk tried to turn over the double play ball, but unable to do so. Goes 5-4 in your scorebook for the second out. Kraus is at first after the fielder's choice, and we're back to the top in Jacob Barton. Barton yet to be retired, by the way, at the plate. He's 1 for 1 with 2 walks. And he fouled this straight back, 0-1. Barton's hit was back in the third inning, straight up the middle. He walked back in the first and stole a base, scored a run there. Drew a walk in the fifth against McCarger and would score a run there. He's a guy that makes things happen, the junior. And this ball well inside. Bickford again doing his thing behind home plate. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs to the leadoff batter for Waukee. This would be a nice win for Waukee if they're able to hold on, but it will not be easy. We talked about it, 1 through 9. This Dowling batting order, just they know how to get a rally going. As we mentioned, coming in, 109 runs in just 12 games. They have not seen many pitchers, though, like Jackson Payne. They have scored twice. That was back in the 4th inning. As there's a swing and a miss to Barton, and it is 2-2. Brock trying to get out of this 6th inning unscathed and turn it right back over to the offense, see if they can scratch across a pair and force Waukee to at least have to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The pitch, that's in the dirt. Bickford thought he knocked it down, but it was actually the umpire who knocked it down. It'll be a wild pitch. Kraus able to take second, kind of delayed, didn't know where it was. You could hear Bickford might have got a piece of it, but then when he stood up and didn't have it, you could see it bounce back in front of the plate, either off him or the umpire, off of Karam. And now it's 3-2 to Barton from Browk. Here's Browk's pitch, popped up, foul ground, long run for everybody, and not playable. Three and 2. Still the count to Jacob Barton. The very strong hitting left fielder. Strong hitting, strong running. One of those players that you just love to have in the top part of your order, whether in an RBI position or a run-scoring position. They just do a lot for you. An RBI shot here. This pitch. Swung on and missed. Browk gets him. Swinging over the top, and that'll retire the side, but it's just 3 outs away for Waukee to try to beat number 1 Dowling. It is 4-2 Waukee. We'll head to the 7th after this on CISN.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Why do I look for the seal? It's about trust. Whether I'm buying a car, hiring a contractor, finding a tax preparer, or an honest mechanic, the Better Business Bureau's seal means this business meets high standards. When I see the seal, I know I'll get what I pay for. No more taking chances and no more worries. And I feel good about supporting local businesses. My life is so much easier knowing I can always trust BBB accredited businesses. It pays to look for the seal. See for yourself at bbb.org/Iowa.
Jackson Payne, 1 more inning, try to finish this one out. 1 in the first, 3 in the 5th for Waukee. Both runs for Dowling came in the fourth. Payne weathered through that little storm. Those are the first runs he's allowed all season. But no skin off him now. He's looking for a complete game and try to get himself another victory.
Leading off for Dowling, number 21, Leo Morrow.
And for Payne, try to move to 2-0 by my count. Although he hadn't allowed a run. Just trying to decipher the Waukee statistics as the first pitch in there for a strike. You saw there as we came back the game that we have for you coming up on Wednesday. Ankeny and Ankeny Centennial, matchup of the two Ankeny schools. Baseball and softball available. CISN.TV. You can get $5 for single game passes. As it's 0-2 to the pinch hitter. This is Leo Morrow batting for Mac Anderson. By the way, the Ankeny and Centennial matchup, 5 o'clock start time. You're not going to want to miss that. A couple of really strong baseball and softball programs here in Central Iowa. Payne looking to get Morrow out. Strike 3 right there. Strikeout number 5 for Payne, and that's 1 away.
Now hitting number 14, third baseman, Blake Anderson.
Mac Anderson had been 1-for-1, just an infield hit. And now Blake Anderson will bat with 1 out and nobody on here in the top of the 7th. Big breaker in there from Payne, 0-1. A little bit more cloud cover coming from the west. Still just 15% chance of rain by my calculations in my weather apps. As there's a big swing and no contact, quickly 0-2, and Payne hammering the strike zone here late. Does not want it to roll back to the top of this batting order. You know how dangerous this team can be. Is the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back Ks to start this 7th inning.
Owen Browk.
And now Owen Browk, the last chance here for Dowling in game 1. Payne winds up and fires. First pitch comes in high, 1-0. Browk is 0-for-2, flew out to center in the 3rd, and then grounded to shortstop Colin Evers back in the 5th inning. The 1-2. Or pardon, the 1-0, my mistake. And that misses. It's 2-0. 1 away. Pardon, 2 away with nobody out. On base, my mistake. Trying to get my book and my scoreboard out here in right field. Correlated here. Now we're good to go. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on base. For Browk, facing Payne. This is last chance for Dowling here, top of the 7th. Oh, nice breaking ball. Has him swinging through it, and it's 2-2. If Browk were to find a way to reach Yancey Gerke is the on-deck hitter. Payne trying to finish it out for the Warriors. The wind, and 2-2. That ball hit hard into left field, and that'll be a base hit, and this game will continue. Fielded by Barton. He'll get it in quickly to hold Browk to a single, but with 2 strikes and 2 outs, last chance for him, he singles out into left field. Browk technically the pitcher. We'll see if there's a runner for him. He's a good runner himself, so doesn't look like there will be. Browk is 2-for-2 in stolen bases this season. As Dave Dirks comes out to talk with his pitcher, Jackson Payne. 1 out away from getting this thing over, but it looks like a change may be made. As we will see Gerke come on, and Jackson Payne will get a nice round of applause. As we will get a change. Payne will get greeted by his teammates in the dugout. And we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll give you the stats on our new pitcher right after this. Dowling Tying run coming to the plate in the 7th right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Central Bank, proud to be a long-standing Iowa tradition. Founded in 1887 in Storm Lake, we've grown over the years from that one location to a bank serving Northwest and Central Iowa, employing more than 200 people in the region. Being here and being from here, it makes Central Bankers unique in the banking world. Decisions are made here. Investments of our time and resources are made here. For us, banking is still about people. Our reverence for community and hard work speaks to a proud Iowa heritage. Our passion for small business to bold new directions forward for our bank and the Iowans we serve. Thank you for your support of Central Bank. Let's keep it going. Let's plan together. Let's execute for Iowa's small business, agricultural, and individual banking customers. Central Bank is ready to make it happen. Member FDIC.
Back here with the new pitcher, Jackson Wentworth, going to get the call. Wentworth moves from second base. Wentworth replaced at second by Matthew Irvin. So, Matthew Irvin at second base. Wentworth has had great numbers so far in 10 2/3 innings of work. .66 the ERA, just a .47 whip. Opponents hitting just .051 against him. So in 10 2/3 innings of work, he has been great. He just needs one more out to get a victory here, as that pitch just misses 1-0 to Neanthi Gerke. The number 9 hitter is 0 for 1, grounded back to the pitcher in the 3rd, and then drew a walk in the 5th. He is the tying run as Dowling trails it 4-2. That pitch up high, and it's 2-0. Jackson Payne, 6 2/3 innings, just could not get the last out before Dave Dirks decided to go to the pen. He allowed 4 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. So far, he's allowed 2 runs, just 1 earned. He is responsible for the runner at first base, Owen Browk. Browk goes for second, but they're just going to let him take it. Strike called. That's a defensive indifference, but likely will be considered a stolen base when you go and check the stats on Quick Stats. The reason it's called defensive indifference is that run really does not change the outcome of the game. It really is a matter of just getting this batter out for Wentworth, and that's why you saw no throw there. There's a strike of the knees. 2-2 the count to Gerke, and now once again, Waukee 1 strike away from picking up a win over the brand new number 1 team in Class 4A. By the way, Payne 98 pitches, 71 strikes, 27 balls. Very efficient work out of him today. The 2-2. Big hook. That's high. And we're full here to Gerke. And it gets a little sketchy after that as Brandon Bickford, the Mount Mercy commit, is due up in the on-deck circle. This is a big pitch. Jackson Wentworth fires the payoff. Low. Gerke draws a walk. So now the tying run is on base, and the potential go-ahead run comes to the plate in the form of Bickford. So Bickford, 0 for 3 in this game, flew out in foul ground down the right side to the right fielder, Aiden McGee. In the 3rd, he grounded to third base. Cooper Kraus made a nice play on him, and then in the 5th, he went down on strikes looking, all against Jackson Payne. First pitch from Wentworth, ground ball, right side. Charging, nobody's at first base. Quick throw over to Wentworth is not in time, and the ball squirts away and gets into the dugout. So 1 run comes in. 2nd and 3rd will be where the runners are. That's going to be an infield hit. That was so slowly hit. Bickford will get credit for the infield hit, but it'll go E4 for the advancement. And now the tying run is at 3rd, and the go-ahead run at 2nd for the big hitting Hank Hamrick. Things definitely got sketchy here quickly. Hamrick trying to keep the game alive again for Dowling. Still down by 1. First pitch to him. In the dirt. Gets away. Tying run comes in. Gerke. Bickford goes to 3rd. He's the potential go-ahead run. Wild pitch. And you feel bad for a guy like Jackson Payne, who threw an excellent ball game, but now he's going to get a no decision, and now it's up to Wentworth to try to get an out and just allow the game to stay tied for Waukee in the bottom of the 7th. That's a foul tip, straight down. 1-1 here to Hamrick. That closes the book for Payne. He allowed 3 runs. By my count, there are 2 earned. As Hamrick knows an RBI hit here. As this ground ball through the whole right side, knocked down by Matt Irvin, but he's not going to be able to make a play. That's another single. RBI for Hamrick, and Dowling has scored 3 with 2 outs in the 7th to take a 5-4 lead. They just do not quit.
Next up, number 27.
So now with Hamrick, you would think it's only a matter of maybe a pitch or two before he's trying to get into scoring position here with 2 outs. Baseball is a crazy game. Down to their last strike on multiple occasions. Dowling now leads it. The first pitch in there for his strike to Browk. Now if you're looking at the bottom of the 7th for Waukee, they'll have the right bats coming up. 2, 3, and 4 due up. Wentworth, Alex Walsh, and Aiden McGee. What a turn of events here in the 7th. Ground ball, left side. Kraus knocks it down, can't field it cleanly, throws, he's going to squeeze it, not going to make the throw over. E5. Inning continues. And now Dave Dirks comes back out, and he's at least going to talk with his pitcher, catcher, and infield. This Dowling Maroon squad, they are making no mistake. They are going to be the team to beat this season in Class 4A. Number 1, down to their last strike. Multiple batters, multiple situations. Payne was forced out of the game after throwing nearly 100 pitches. Wentworth had come on and had been a great pitcher all season long to this point, but they're putting it in play. Their offense is absolutely fantastic. And they have scored 3 runs here. There's been 2 errors by my count and calculations. Of course, mine completely unofficial. You'll have to go to quickstatsiowa.com. That's QUIK statsiowa.com. You can see every team's statistics as they're put in by the teams. But the teams take care of their own statistics. So they may look different than the ones that I'm giving you here today. So there's your little disclaimer as first pitch low. 1-0 to Charlie Carell. Carell is 0 for 2. Grounded back to the pitcher in the 2nd. Laid down a nice sack bunt. Reached on an error on that play in the 4th. And then grounded to shortstop. Colin Evers in the 6th. That misses, and it's 2-0. Wind really picks up now, blowing in from center. 2 in the 4th, 3 here so far in the 7th. All with 2 outs for Dowling. Wentworth kicks and fires. Swing and a miss by Carell there on the 2-0 count. It's 2-1. Carell's the 8th batter of the inning. The first 2 batters, Leo Morrow and Blake Anderson, went down on 6 pitches and strikeouts. And with 2 strikes on him, Owen Browk singled out in the left field to get this thing going. Here's a ground ball up the middle. Fielded cleanly. Little glove flip from Evers to Matthew Irvin to get the out at second. But that is not before. 3 runs crossed with 2 outs for Dowling. And we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. Waukee needs 1 run to at least force extras. We'll see what happens next right here on Central Iowa Sports Network.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
In a a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
New Dowling pitcher is Blake Anderson. Comes on to pitch this bottom of the 7th. The sophomore is going to try to hold Waukee right where they're at, and Dowling trying to steal a win from the 7th-ranked Waukee Warriors. Dowling down by 2 in the 7th, 2 outs and 2 strikes on number 8 hitter Owen Browk. He's singled. Nianti Gerke with the new reliever. Jackson Wentworth came on. Issued a walk. Then Brandon Bickford an infield hit, and then a throwing error after that. Hank Hamrick had an infield hit, and just like that, the game had flipped from 4-2 Waukee to 5-4 Dowling, all with those 2 outs. And now Jackson Wentworth, Alex Walsh, Aiden McGee, and maybe more for Waukee as they try to get at least one across. Blake Anderson's numbers on the hill, 5 relief appearances. He does 1 inning at a time, 5 innings of work. He does have 1 save. This would be his 2nd save if he can get it. And he's been good. The sophomore, an ERA of nothing, a whip of nothing. He has not walked anyone. He has not allowed any hits. And he has struck out 6 of the 15 batters he's faced. Every single inning he has worked, he has gotten 1, 2, 3. Here he goes. First pitch to Wentworth is a strike, 0-1. Owen Browk, by the way, was the last pitcher we saw, as it's 1-1 here to Wentworth. He went 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs. Did not allow a walk, struck out 1. As Wentworth fouls this off, it's 1-2. Wentworth, by the way, is 0 for 2, popped up to 3rd in the 1st. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd, and then had a beautiful sacrifice bunt back in the 5th. Helped Waukee score a couple of runs, 3 runs in fact, as that's outside, 2-2. Owen Browk, by the way, 18 pitches thrown, 12 strikes, 6 balls. He's available as early as Wednesday. And Wentworth takes ball 3, 3-2. Instant Classic in game 1. You got to keep in mind, these 2 teams are going to play a second game here today. I don't know how much better it could get than this one, as Wentworth fouls this well deep but out of play. Right side, we'll do it again. Blake Anderson is just a sophomore. Jake English, a different sophomore, drew the start and did pretty darn well against this Waukee club. As this pitch fouled, line drive, out of play, and we'll do it again. 8th pitch of the at-bat. Dowling is out of baseballs to use, so Waukee has to bring one in. You're not familiar with the COVID-19 concerns, and Dowling, when Dowling's out in the field, they have their own set of balls. When Waukee's out in the field, they use their own set of balls. 3-2. That ball hit high in the air. Center fielder Enertson got a beat on it. He's there, makes the out. 1 away. Brings up Alex Walsh.
Next up, catcher, number 4, Alex Walsh.
The senior is 1 for 3. Singled in the 1st, flew out to center in the 3rd, and had an RBI ground out, but reached on a fielding error back in the 5th. And Dylan Fuqua, his courtesy runner, scored a run, running for him. That's outside. First pitch to him. 1-0. Dowling sent 8 to the plate in the top of this 7th inning. 3 scored. There's a strike. 3 scored. 2 of those runs were earned. 3 hits, 2 defensive errors by Waukee, and 2 were left on base. 1-1 the count here to Walsh. Foul tip, straight back. And it's 1-2. Heavy hitting Aiden McGee, who has 2 home runs. To his credit this year, he's in the on-deck circle. You know Walsh would love to get on in front of him. The sophomore Blake Anderson. Shakes off a sign, shakes off a second. Now accepts, winds, the 0-2. Little chopper, 2-hopper, over to second. Browk to first in time. Adam Browk made easy work of that and quickly 2 away.
Now hitting number 19, right fielder Aiden McGee.
So now your cleanup man, the best power hitter you have in the order, comes up. He's 1 for 2. RBI single in the first, drew a walk in the third, and then struck out looking in the fifth. Blake Anderson looking to lock down the save. First pitch, there for a strike, 0-1. Last chance here for the Warriors in game 1. Led with 2 outs in the 7th, 4-2. Now trail at 5-4. There's another strike. Oh, just missed. That was close. About as close as it could be. Not missed by much. Lower portion of the zone. And it's 1-1. This pitch, that's off the outside corner. With each pitch, the Dowling fans getting antsier and antsier. Anderson did not miss either of those last 2 by very much at all. But it's 2-1 to McGee. That ball hammered out into right field. Standing there, dropping the ball in right field is Hamrick. That ball got on him in a hurry, and he squeezed it, and it fell out of the mitt. Wow.
Now hitting first baseman.
That ball was hit hard, but it'll go in the book, E9. For Anderson, now he'll have to get what would be a 4th out to try to finish this save. But for Waukee, they stay alive here as Luke Gaynor, who had a 2-run double down the left field corner last time up in the 5th, has a chance now. A double like that likely would tie the game. 1-0 the count to him. Big swing and a miss. 1-1 the count. Gaynor at the plate. The pitch is low, 2-1. Never did quite mention this. Blake Anderson was playing third base. Ben Morrow came in to play the third base spot for him. Jake Steingreber still at shortstop. Quick step off by Anderson just to look the runner back. It's 2-1. Waukee down to their last out. McGee is the runner at first base. He takes a lead. Good lead, not a great lead, but he doesn't need to have a great lead. He's going to be going on contact anyway. At pitch high, 3-1. Donovan Akis is the hitter on deck. Gaynor could get on base. That would push the runner. That could be the tying run in scoring position, but there's a swing and a miss. And now again, Waukee down to the last strike. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Anderson trying to lock it down. He'll step off the rubber. And he gets back on it. Gaynor 1 for 3 with the 2-run double. Can he do it again? Runner goes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And that'll do it. What a come from behind victory for Dowling as they win it 5-4. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have final totals for Game 1 for you right after this. As Dowling steals one from Waukee in Game 1 here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Central Bank, proud to be a long-standing Iowa tradition. Founded in 1887 in Storm Lake, we've grown over the years from that one location to a bank serving Northwest and Central Iowa, employing more than 200 people in the region. Being here and being from here, it makes Central Bankers unique in the banking world. Decisions are made here. Investments of our time and resources are made here. For us, banking is still about people. Our reverence for community and hard work speaks to a proud Iowa heritage. Our passion for small business to bold new directions forward for our bank and the Iowans we serve. Thank you for your support of Central Bank. Let's keep it going. Let's plan together. Let's execute for Iowa's small business, agricultural, and individual banking customers. Central Bank is ready to make it happen. Member FDIC.
We might not always know what the day will bring, but some things are certain. The sun will rise, and your lights will go on. That's because at MidAmerican Energy, we're obsessively, relentlessly committed to providing you energy when and where you need it, to connecting with you and keeping our communities safe and strong. Because the most important thing we put our energy into is you. We're obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Here's to everyone who believes in competition and good sportsmanship, who knows it's not about the trophies or the medals, but rather the lessons learned. For those who understand, it's not whether you win or lose, just that you give your best. So go ahead, lace them up, take the field, have fun, and play. For the experience, for the memories, for the love of the game. Shields.
In a recent spring storm, a freak tornado formed and moved through the north side of Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. Depending on damage, most new vehicles with minor cosmetic imperfections. Affected new Chevys will be sold for thousands below market value, with a limited number of storm-damaged vehicles available. Time is of the essence to take advantage of this opportunity. You get the rebates and discounts. Now take thousands more off storm-damaged vehicles. Limited time savings. Shunkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Hi, Ron here, head coach of Westside Auto Pros. When your car's on the injured reserve, you want to get it back in the game as soon as possible. I know that. That's why you need to bring it here to Westside Auto Pros. I have a team of experts that can fix almost every automotive injury, whether it's a fractured joint, a brake, or if your car just got its bell rung, no problem. We can even do a complete physical on your car to make sure it's game ready for the entire season. So bring your car to Westside Auto Pros and we'll get it back in the starting lineup in no time. Hey, you guys are dogging it back here. Let's move it, move it, move it.
Central Bank, proud to be a long-standing Iowa tradition. Founded in 1887 in Storm Lake, we've grown over the years from that one location to a bank serving northwest and central Iowa, employing more than 200 people in the region. Being here and being from here, it makes Central Bankers unique in the banking world. Decisions are made here. Investments of our time and resources are made here. For us, banking is still about people. Our reverence for community and hard work speaks to a proud Iowa heritage. Our passion for small business to bold new directions forward for our bank and the Iowans we serve. Thank you for your support of Central Bank. Let's keep it going. Let's plan together. Let's execute for Iowa's small business, agricultural, and individual banking customers. Central Bank is ready to make it happen. Member FDIC.
Back here, final score, game one. What a classic game it was between two of the top teams in Class 4A. Number one, Dowling comes from behind in the seventh to nip number 7, Waukee, 5-4. Dowling scored its 5 runs on 6 hits, 3 errors in the field, 5 were left on base. For Waukee, 4 runs on 6 hits, 3 errors, 7 were left on base. Owen Browk picks up the win in relief. He's 1-0. Jackson Wentworth gets the loss, 1-1 his record on the mound. Blake Anderson, the sophomore, picked up his second save of the year. Game time, 2 hours and 12 minutes. For Dowling offensively, Brandon Bickford went 1 for 4 with a run scored. Hank Hamrick went 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Adam Browk went 1 for 4, a run scored and an RBI as well. Charlie Carell 0 for 3. He also had a successful sacrifice bunt. Derek Anderson went 0 for 3. Mac Anderson went 1 for 1 with a walk. Leo Morrow 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. Blake Anderson went 0 for 3. Owen Browk went 1 for 3 with a run scored. And Anthony Gerke, the DH, went 0 for 1 with 2 walks. A very important walk in that 7th inning as well. And he was the tying run that scored in that 7th inning. Pitching-wise, 5 guys saw the mound for the Maroons. Jake English, the starter, the sophomore, goes 4 innings of work, 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 70 pitches for him, 40 strikes, 30 balls. He's not available until next week. Joe McCarger went 1/3 of an inning in relief, 1 hit. He had 2 runs allowed with 1 earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts, 13 pitches thrown, 6 were strikes, 7 were balls. Logan Cox went 2/3 of an inning of work, 1 hit, 1 run. It was unearned with no walks, 2 strikeouts, 18 pitches thrown, 13 strikes and 5 balls. Owen Browk went 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. He threw 18 pitches as well, 12 strikes, 6 balls. He got the win. And the sophomore Blake Anderson locked it down with 1 inning of work, no hits, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout, 22 pitches thrown, 13 were strikes and 9 were balls. McCarger, Cox, Browk, and Anderson all available as early as Wednesday. For Waukee offensively, Jacob Barton went 1 for 2 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored. Jackson Wentworth went 0 for 3 with a sack bunt. Alex Walsh went 1 for 4 with an RBI. His courtesy runner Dylan Fook was scored a run running for him. Aiden McGee went 1 for 3 with an RBI. Luke Gaynor went 1 for 4. He had a 2-run double. Donovan Akis went 0 for 3. Jackson Payne 0 for 2 with a walk. Matthew John Jurius went 1 for 3. And Cooper Krause went 1 for 3 with the run scored. Jackson Payne, 6 2/3 innings of work. The ace just could not get that last out before being lifted. 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 were earned with 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. 98 pitches thrown, 71 were strikes, 27 were balls. Still a great outing for him. Jackson Wentworth in relief. He went the last third of that inning, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 was earned with 1 walk, no strikeouts. 16 pitches, 9 were strikes, 7 were balls. Jackson Payne will not be available until next week to pitch again, as Jackson Wentworth will be available as early as Wednesday. Game 2 will be coming up probably in the next 20 minutes or so we'll make sure to get you locked and loaded for you. But first game in the books, 5-4, Dowling over Waukee, right here on the Central Iowa Sports Network.